Hey friends, welcome back. So today I am going to give you a few details on pruning blueberry bushes. So here in front of my house I have 3 different blueberry bushes, and I might be able to see the tags to let you know what kind they are, but I put different varieties because blueberry bushes have to cross-pollinate. So you need more than one variety for it to do that. Looks like this first one here is it's called Blueberry Woodard. And I have to go over and see if I still have the tags on the other ones, or at least one of them. This one here in the middle, I know I don't have a tag for it because I think it was last year, may have been the year before, that my neighbor and I had went to a place that she dog sits and dug up a few of that lady's plants that she no longer wanted. But I don't see the tag on this one, but I know it's a different variety because I purposely bought this one and that first one at the same time. As you can tell, there is some new growth on this blueberry bush. This here is a darker color, whereas you can tell here, well, they look more woody and older. These are a new pair of snips that I got for Christmas, and what you have to do, I've never used these yet, but I'm going to go ahead and clean them anyway. But what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to clean your clippers between each cutting of a different tree. And what I clean mine with is 90%, 91% isopropyl rubbing alcohol to, if there's any kind of disease from one bush to another bush, then you won't be transferring that from each bush. So if you notice on here, there is some breakage. So I will be trimming off this breakage. I see actually 2 just sitting here looking. And then on the new growth, you don't want to trim the last 3 inches. Well, you don't want to trim it at all, because the last 3 inches is where your berries will grow. That's where your berries come from. But now if there is some that are dead, then I will trim that off if there's some on the end that's dead. Don't want any limbs crisscrossing, and I do have some limbs crisscrossing. It looks like this limb here it's got some new growth here on 1 or 2 limbs, but looks like this limb I may cut it off completely, because you don't want any of the limbs crisscrossing and rubbing together. So most of the new growth, I will not be trimming it off. Let me clean these off real quick. And I wished I could hold the camera and do this at the same time, but I do not think that I could do that. Maybe if I had one more hand, one more arm, I could do that. So I'm just taking it rubbing alcohol and pouring it over it, and then I'm wiping off the blades. Sorry about the traffic. This is right in my front yard. So this one here, I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's got a new growth growing out from it. So I'm just going to clip it right there and leave that one new growth. And make sure that when you clip, you pull out what you're clipping. Don't let it just lay around your bush. So there's another one here that's broke. I don't know if you can see that one right there. And it's got a new growth growing out from it also. So I think what I'll do is I will just clip it also. Well, I tell you what, this one's crisscrossing out, so you also want to open up the middle of your bush. So that's the reason I clipped that one. I will pick up all my stuff at the end, all my little branches at the end, but I don't know if you can see right there where I'm snipping that, where there's a new one growing up. That's the top of it right there. So I'm going to leave that one, and I'm just going to snip right here where it actually broke. Here's another one that looks like, I mean, it's completely dead right here. It's completely dead right here. Well, it's got some on the end, but that's not really enough to save. So I'm probably going to snip that one all the way at the bottom here. And when you're cutting something like this, you want to go all the way up against the limb that it's coming off of. Probably should have got my big lobbers for this. And you want to do your pruning when it's not raining. So that one had some new on it, but sometimes you have to sacrifice some of the new so that your harvest, you get a more bountiful harvest. This is another view of the same blueberry bush. And I'm trying to think which one I want to cut. This one has actually 2 limbs of new growth on it. I'm just trying to evaluate the bush to make sure that I'm leaving on as much of the new as possible. What I'm thinking about doing is just cutting off the pieces that I know are dead. So I could deadhead this right here. And there's some more pieces here that I could deadhead because I've got that new one coming out right there. I'm gonna cut off this one. And I just want to just cut off these. These must have broken off. I'm just cutting them straight to that. And then this one, where it's forking, I'm going to cut that off. Looks like this one is dead here. So I'm going to go down to the bottom. It looks like it has some on the top there, maybe. But I don't think it's worth me not getting a bigger harvest. So I'm just going to go right here and snip it off. I don't know if I could really consider those as being snipping 1/3. But you are supposed to snip 1/3. And see, I got these new ones coming up. I haven't really pruned these like I should. I've had these, I know, at least 3 years, possibly 4 years. I've got a lot that's crisscrossing. But then when I look on them, those are the ones that have the buds on them. And I don't really want to cut them. So this is a hard decision. Very hard decision. But the thing about it is, you prune all your trees to have a more bountiful harvest. So, if I cut this one, that's preventing that one from going both ways. But if I cut that one, it's going both ways, so it's crisscrossing. It's rubbing. But it's sort of the newer foliage. But it's going up the middle. So that's the one I'm going to cut. I'm going to cut the one that's causing a crisscross to the front and causing a crisscross to the back. Because that way I'm saving 2 other limbs and I'm only cutting one. How about that? And it's opening up the middle by me doing that. So, alright. I hated that, but, because that had 3 good limbs of new foliage, but that was actually the one causing the problem. So there's this little limb here that's dead. I'll cut it off. And I know I've got this one coming up. But this one's going to be my newer one for next year. And it is crisscrossing some limbs. But I think I can deal with that crisscross a little bit because it's not really touching them. Except for a little bit. It's touching a little bit. And I think I'm okay with that. So I'm going to leave this one for right now, and I will come back, I think, and just glance at it one more time when I'm finished with these other 2. Actually, here is a limb. It's not a big limb, it's just a little limb. It's just a little stick off the side. And here's another one. I'm not sure if you can see that or not. It's not doing anything except for hanging there. And then here's a little bit more. Well, it's better than it was. I got some of it off. I like to cut this one off here. I think I am going to cut this one off. If you can tell the difference between this limb and this limb on this side and the one that's in the middle. So I'm going to cut this one off in the middle. And it's got 2 others growing out to the side. Losing a little bit, but in the long run, got these 2 coming out and they'll give off more growth. And I have this one here. I'm going to cut it off. I know I said I was going to move to the next tree, but I just seen a few that I could grab. So in between each one, like I said, I am putting isopropyl alcohol on them and cleaning them. Okay. Well, let's go to this one. This one looks like it might be an easier choice for me here. So we have this dead that's coming off the end here, but then we've got some new there. So I'm going to clip this here. And this one here is dead. So I'm going to go down here and clip it. And then looks like this one is dead. So I'm going to clip it. Looks like we have some dead here. So I'll clip it. This one is not actually budding yet, like the other one. So it's sort of a little bit deceiving on some of the ones, but if you notice, this one right here is going over here and it's crisscrossing. Then there's two different ones coming out through here crisscrossing. I'm going to go ahead and clip that because that's going to open up the middle some, and then it's going to prevent from crisscrossing. And that, it had some buds on it, but that may be my sacrificial one on this bush, on this blueberry bush. So I'm a little bit happy with this one. I can come back to it later on and look at it. I have a little bit of crisscrossing here with this one. I could cut it out. Might as well cut this one out right here because it's going towards the middle. And I want to cut that other one. I'm going to go ahead and cut it because it's going towards the middle. This one here. It looks like a newer, but it's going towards the middle, so I had to open up that middle. There's another one right here. It's coming here, it goes up there. That looks like a newer growth. This one here looks like an older growth. I'm cutting that one because it's going towards the middle. I've got two more going towards the middle, but this is like the higher upper end. And I think I can deal with that. So, all right, I think I'm done with that one. So in between each one, like I said, I am putting isopropyl alcohol on them and cleaning them. Okay, so this one here, right away, I see that I can snip this. So it looks like it's dead. It's going towards the middle. There's another one down here I can snip because it looks like it's dead and it's just going straight up towards the middle. And I see another, looks like it's dead. That one there. So I'm going to go right down here, snip it off. It was rubbing with that other one that had, looked like some buds on it. This one is crisscrossing. It's too major. It's too major. And just don't know if I want to snip that or not. Looks like maybe I should snip this one that's going straight up right here because that's what's actually crisscrossing. I'm going to think about that for a moment. because I see something back here. This one here looks like it's dead. Maybe has a little new foliage there, but I'm gonna snip it. Did have some new foliage on it, but it was crisscrossing, so. And I've got some stuff here that just needs to be cleaned off. This one it was growing that way, but then it bent back that way. Let's cut it off. This one here is coming straight up crisscrossing. I might be able to take a piece of wood, and I just found one. How convenient. So I can take this piece of wood and I can, I can do that, and it'll space that out so that it's not crisscrossing it. Got a couple little pieces here that I can snip off. Deadwood. And with these being different varieties, that first one was a little bit more, you could tell what needed to be snipped and what didn't. But then on these other two, the one in the middle and this one, they haven't really bloomed out yet. So, I mean, they're starting to. You can tell on the very ends. But like some of the other limbs, it's like, see, all that's new growth. So on this one here, I mean, I can see some new growth there, but it's like I need to wait a little bit longer before I come back. Well, I do think that I can snip this here, this one here, going all the way up. I can snip that one because it looks like it's dead. It's not easy holding this camera and showing you guys what I'm trying to do. If I had my tripod, then it would be much easier. But I don't, so I wanted to get this project done today, and I wanted to show you guys while I was doing it, because that's, you know, I could have put stuff in time lapse the other day when I was doing the garden, when I was planting the cabbage and broccoli and Brussels sprouts and all that, but I couldn't because I didn't have my tripod. It's in another vehicle where we've been filming my daughter's volleyball games. Well, I just see that was crisscrossing, and what happened is I pulled it apart and I broke that off. So I'm just going to go ahead and take this part that was crisscrossing. I'm going to clip it right here because I've already broke that one. It's not going to do any good anymore. So if I come back out and do some more modifications on this, I think I'm going to clip this one because I've got this new growth coming up on these three. So I got 1, 2, 3 new growth. So I'm going to cut this one. They're going straight up. That one's going towards the middle, so they had to open up the middle. This one, I still want to get rid of it, and I'm going to. So by me doing this, I mean, really, you know, I hate cutting off some of them that look like they have some new growth on up from the dead growth. But in the long run, it's going to be better off because the new growth on all the other is going to put off more prolific. So And see, these are some new growth off of this one. And this one, it doesn't look as healthy right now, but it's, you know, it's still early in the season. There is a lot of time that these small new growth can you know, bud on out. So that's it for the blueberry bushes. What I'm going to do next is probably another video on one of my other fruit trees. So I'll try to film it also, although I would rather have my tripod so that, you know, I'm not struggling to show you guys what I'm doing. But I will try to do the best I can, because I'm not going to get my tripod back today. It'll probably be, and I might have to wait till tomorrow, but because I got to leave soon to take my daughter to volleyball practice. But that's it on these three. I mean, that's already opened up pretty good anyway. There is one here that's crisscrossing with this new one, but it's got new growth on it. It's not really crisscrossing. This new one's going straight up and that one's coming out. But other than that, it looks like it's opened up pretty good, especially since I put that little piece there to bend that one out. This one here, it didn't have a lot in the middle anyway, so it's only got 5 main branches on that one. This one has the most branches, and it's actually the one that produces the most also. So I think I'm happy with what I've got pruned so far, and I'll come back out because I still have a little bit of time. This is only like the 3rd week in February, so I can still prune up until late winter. I did want to tell you one more thing, and that is fertilizing your blueberry bushes. I always put Espoma. It's soil acidifier. What I use, I usually go around the base of the blueberry bush at least 12 inches out. Actually, it's like at the drip line, where if it was raining and it would be dripping down around the blueberry bush, you just put like a 2-inch circle around. And it does say on here, apply in the spring to lower the pH. For new plants, use 1.5 cups. For established plants, like so on mine, I'm going to use at least 2.5 cups, and I'm going to spread it evenly around the plant out to the drip line and water well, and repeat in 60-day intervals. I usually only do it twice a year, but you know, if you want to go by this, maybe that would help my plants a lot better if I did it every 60 days. So, but it says apply in the spring to lower the pH. So I guess I could apply it today and then 60 days from now. So if this is February 23rd, I could apply it again April 23rd. So that's still in the spring. So I may do that after I prune my peach tree. So let me finish this up real quick though. So I decided to go ahead and put the acidifier around the blueberry bushes. Sorry, I'm trying to put my glove on with my teeth since I'm one-handed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the mulch back, or in the pine needles, away from the tree to out around the drip line. And it says for my established to put 2 in ever how many cups. I am like the one who does not follow the recipe, who basically knows the recipe but doesn't follow the recipe. So I am going to use my judgment of what to and ever how many cups is supposed to go around the drip line of my blueberry bush. So one other thing I want to tell you real quick is blueberry bushes have very shallow roots. So don't be going in there and trying to, like, you know, scratch up the top layer, because that's not going to be good. You're going to pull the roots of your blueberry bush up. So just pull it back enough. And I don't know if you notice or not, but I have right there, if you can see that black, that is my soaker hose. I was going to say irrigation. I mean, it is irrigation, but irrigation sounds too fancy for what I have. I just have a soaker hose. At least you can see what I'm doing. A little bit anyway. Makeshift tripod. So it says 2.5 cups, but I'm just going to try to use my judgment. Go around a thin line. Like I said, I usually do it, it's usually about a 2-inch thick line going around it. And that's probably about 2.5 cups. Let's see. Yeah, this says 2.5. Got it right there. Let's see, let's put just a little bit more for good measure. So yeah, this is what I'm going to do around all 3 of the bushes. I won't put you through the torture of watching me with the other 2 bushes, but you get the gist. So after that, I just take my rake and pull my pine needles back closer. I use pine needles instead of a mulch. I have read on several websites where some people use mulch, some people use pine needles. Pine needles are known to be acidic, but whether it lowers the pH or not, there is some controversy on whether or not that actually happens. So what I'll do now is I'll get my garden hose and I'll water that in. So yeah, if you want to go by what the bag says, every 60 days, like I said, I have done it in the spring and then in the fall. So I may not be doing it enough, but I seem to get a pretty good bit of berries every year. So maybe if I do it more, I may have a bigger abundance. So I see that my little spacer has dropped, so I'll have to put that back on there. So while I was doing that, I uncovered 4 of my tulips. So it's a great day when you find little surprises of spring. So I appreciate you joining me today. I ask that if you like this video, you hit the like button. If you have any comments on how I can do things better, or if you've seen something in this video that I should have done that I didn't do, I would like your constructive feedback. That would be great. And as always, if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button.